right, today we're going to be looking at the schedule and how to schedule effectively and correctly. Want to empower everybody to feel confident scheduling your patients and building a schedule that is both productive but doable. So we're going to start with a couple of rules. First of all, this one. Make sure you are viewing all of the chairs. Click the plus sign on the bottom right of the schedule. Now that we have a bigger schedule, sometimes it doesn't show all of the chairs. So down here in the very bottom is a plus sign, which occasionally needs to be clicked. If you're not seeing a column that you know you should be seeing, this is where you click and it should open up. Okay, next one. Production blocks. For visits that are greater than or equal to $800 of production, that's what they are for. Things such as crowns and buildups, bridges, implants, veneers, and multiple fillings, just to name a few that are very apparent. So on the schedule, you will see we have put these yellow blocks. These are placeholders for specific patients that are being scheduled for these things. So if a patient is being scheduled for a crown, a bridge, an implant, veneers, or multiple fillings where the production is $800 or more, you can put them into these spots. Not only can you, but we ask you to please use these spots. So as you're giving patients options and you're giving them, and you're narrowing it down, so now we're talking about Monday, October 21st, you're going to ask them, if they're a patient of Dr. Thompson, would you like an 8 o'clock or a 9:30? So you're very specifically giving them these times. If they say, no, I need the afternoon, say, okay, how about 2 o'clock? And if they say, no, I can't do 2 o'clock, then you're looking for another day. These are the times. All right, next thing is new patient and SRP blocks. These are specifically for new patients or perio visits. So as you see on the other side, the hygiene side of the schedule, we have green blocks. These are also 2-hour blocks of time. They are specifically for new patients or perio patients. So you may use them, even though they are green, to alert you to the new patient. You may also use these blocks for SRPs and perio procedures. Next, mind the blocks unless it's 48 hours or less away and you need that scheduled time. So as you're looking for a place on the schedule, if you're looking 2 days out, or you're needing to schedule a patient same day, next day, or within 48 hours, if there is openings on the schedule and you see that's a block time, you may utilize that time for anything. So if you've got a new patient block there and you don't have a new patient but it's less than 48 hours, please put the patients in. We want to be scheduled to goal, and once we get to that 48-hour mark, we are putting anything and everything in there. Of course, hygiene for hygiene and restorative for restorative. Don't get that swapped. All right. Schedule with the correct information, correct provider, correct treatment codes, correct amount of time, correct appointment type. Let's talk about that. Say I'm going to schedule a patient, and I'm going to use a test patient as an example. Scheduling this patient for services, first and foremost, they should be on the treatment plan somewhere. So please always pull treatment from treatment items. So this patient, I'm going to say they're coming in for a crown and build up on 19. I want to pull these codes directly from the treatment plan. So please, that's what I ask that you would do on every patient. If the procedure has not been treatment planned, that's what needs to happen first. So I've added these codes for crown and buildup. You want to make sure that your appointment type is correct. You want to make sure that your provider is correct. If this is going to be a patient of Dr. Thompson, change the name. So I've got the correct provider. I've got the correct treatment codes coming straight from the treatment plan. I've got the correct appointment type. I'm going to click Save. And then it should automatically choose the right amount of time because of the type of appointment it is. And if the provider has communicated to you that they need more or less time, then please drag or decrease according to what they say, if they need more or less. If you are changing the time on the appointment, I encourage you to put a note. Doctor requests 2.5 hours, so that we know that's why you made that appointment longer. Okay? Next, fillings. The doctor will be in the room for the entire time. Don't put anything in the other chair that would need the doctor specifically. So now I'm going to take the time to show you a schedule we put together that's kind of a model schedule that is doable and is fully filled. So for example, here's an example of some fillings. We've got Dr. Thompson doing 2 fillings on this test patient. There is something in the other chair. There is a procedure, it's actually a bridge in this other chair, and this is only doable if Dr. Thompson says I can get those fillings done in, I'm going to say about this amount of time right here. Because what happens for a patient that has a bridge, they come in and they first are anesthetized, they're getting numb, they're sitting there waiting. During that time, the doctor can be somewhere else if necessary. When the doctor comes in to actually do the restorative work, he is in the chair and he is tied up with this patient for pretty much as long as you see these X's. When the X's end, there's some time at the end of the appointment where our assistants are in the room making the temporary. This is an opportunity for this doctor to go into the next chair and work on these fillings. So that's why this is the exception where you can have fillings and something next to it. Otherwise, I'm going to just move this over here so that you can see. Otherwise, if there's fillings, let's say the fillings take up about this amount of time, there's really only an opportunity for something right here in between at the end of this crown. There's time here to do something, maybe a seat crown, maybe a problem focused, but during the time that the doctor is in the room for these fillings, you see X's all the way down, nothing can be placed here, which is why you will see April placing blocks on the schedule right beside the fillings. Why is it doing that? I want to put a block so you can see. Uh-oh. All right, picking up where we left off. That is why you will see that April will place blocks on the schedule. A lot of times they don't have anything in them, but they're just a big gray blank box. This is saying don't put anything beside here because the doctor is in the room the entire time. That gray box is blocking us from putting another patient in his other chair. Can't do it. Let's see. Let's go on to the next one and then I'll show you some more. All right, this one. Multiples of anything. Ask the doctor how much time they will need. Crowns, fillings, extractions. So EagleSoft is designed to automatically put the right amount of time if you're scheduling one thing. So if I'm scheduling 1 crown and build up here, it knows schedule the patient for 2 hours. 1 crown and build up, 1 crown and build up, 1 crown and build up. If the doctor plans to do multiple crowns and build-ups in one appointment, it's going to give 2 hours and he or she may need more time. If they are scheduling multiple things, please ask them, how much time do you need? Make sure that when you're scheduling that appointment, you drag this to the appropriate amount of time and add that into the appointment note that the doctor requests, however much amount of time. Because if this patient ends up having to move this appointment somewhere else, the person that is doing that will know with clarity this is an appointment that needs more time. Okay, this one here. Only April can place or remove gray blocks on the schedule. So April is constantly looking at the schedule. She's looking at making the schedule productive. She's also looking at helping to make the schedule doable. Like I mentioned before, she's putting gray blocks in these places. One, because not everybody is comfortable with all of these rules. There may be a time where everybody knows and she doesn't have to put those gray blocks. But if you see a spot that potentially a gray block is needed, please take it to April and let her know, hey, April, I see an issue here. Will you please put a gray block? And she will do that. Oftentimes you will see gray blocks on the top of the schedule, giving us information like, please call test patient. If you happen to need to put a block at the top of the schedule to remind you to call a lab or call a patient, feel free to do that. But blocks on the schedule that will affect productivity, that is only for April. Why don't we take a closer look at this schedule while we're here? I just want to draw your attention to a couple of things. For one, if we're using the blocks correctly, which this schedule does, there are crowns or production of $800 or more in every scheduled block. They are here. If we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 to 9 crowns on the schedule, we're going to need pretty close to that number of seats on the schedule. So we need to be able to look for opportunities for seats. I'm going to suggest, as you're looking for a place to schedule a seat, that you look at the very beginning of the day, or right after lunch, or at the end of the day. Those are really great opportunities for patients to come in for a seat. Other option would be at the end of a crown. For example, right now we've got this opening right here. I can put in this patient for a seat crown. Perfect. Dr. Thompson finishes this crown and he hops right on over here to seat this one. And he's done by the time he needs to come over here and do these fillings. One thing I want to draw your attention to is this one right here. It looks different than the rest. This one has, build up and crown on 20. This one does not have it at all. That's because there are no codes attached to this appointment. So as we're doing schedule review at the front, hopefully we catch this soon enough and we can find out what this patient is coming in for. So this is part of a very necessary process to scheduling. No notes, no services. We've got to have services attached. Please always pull services from add treatment item. So it's coming straight from the treatment plan. Be alerted that if you don't see it on the treatment plan, it hasn't been planned for that patient. And if it hasn't been planned for that patient, it's not been presented to them. If it's not been presented to them, then they don't know anything about financials. So back up and find out what's going on, and does the patient know about it? Has this been presented to them? And these sorts of things. I just needed to tell you one more thing, that if you cannot find the treatment that you're looking for by choosing treatment item off of the treatment plan, it may be attached to another scheduled appointment somewhere else on the schedule. So if you're looking for it and it's not there, use the binoculars and see if this patient is scheduled for an appointment on another date. And it's probably attached there. Thanks.